I wanted to do a video kind of comparing Paracord and Bankline. Uh, Seen a lot of comments, in the recent past, and it just seems like, if a certain person mentions, a piece of gear or something in particular, everybody's all about it. And I'm kind of the same way, to be honest with you. And I don't mean to put anybody down in this video. It's not what I'm trying to do. My intent, like I said, just compare Paracord and Bankline. A lot of people tend to carry, Paracord or 550 cord in their kit. I do as well. I have several little hanks of it kicking around. It's a useful item, no doubt about it. Been in the military a long time, and we've used it for years to tie our gear down so nothing gets lost and stuff like that. So it's definitely useful. Has many uses, as you guys already know. My only thing is, people start saying stuff like, well, I put Paracord in place of my boot laces in case I need to, get a bow drill fire going. I have extra. I don't recommend that. If you're in that situation, I guess that's all you had. Use your damn boot lace, There's different ways you can carry Paracord. I mean, just hank it up and throw it in your kit. It'd fit right in your pocket without a problem. But you don't want to be taking your boot lace off to start a bow drill fire and then, end up snapping that Paracord, or, it gets shiny at times and it'll snap on you. And then you have no boot lace. Now you're risking mechanical injury with rolling an ankle and stuff like that. So again, no dig on anybody, not trying to put anybody down, but you're going to carry Paracord, just hank it up, throw it in your kit, throw it on your EDC, whatever the case may be. Now, my thing with the Paracord and Bankline is, again, there's many uses for the Paracord. It has the inner strands. Yes, you can use it as snares, fishing line, and the list goes on. What I'm going to do, well, actually, to backtrack, these inner strands, they can be broken down further, obviously. You can floss with it, stitch yourself up if you're that high speed. I don't recommend that either. But Bankline is the same deal. This particular one is a 150-pound test. It comes in 3-ply, so you can break it down, and obviously those individual plies can be broken down even further, just as the Paracord can. The difference, in my opinion, on why I prefer Bankline over the Paracord is, you can use Bankline for everything you can use Paracord for. Difference being, if you're going to use Paracord for fishing line and stuff like that, it can rot away on you. It's not treated or anything like that, so eventually it's going to dry rot and break on you. As far as setting up snares, if you use the whole piece of Paracord, and I'm going to demonstrate this here in a bit, if you use the whole thing of Paracord, the outside green or whatever color you got, with the inner strands, it's a bit bulky. If you're going to use any of this stuff for snaring, highly recommended that you use a spring snare setup. If you're just going to set it up as a ground snare, chances are that animal can chew right out of it. It's happened plenty of times to quite a few of us. So spring snare setup with any type of cordage like this is the way to go as far as snares go. If you use the inner strand of Paracord for a snare, even on a spring snare, I think it's garbage. Yeah, it'll work in a pinch. You could probably get away with it. But what tends to happen with the inner strands is they want to twist up on you. So you could spend 30 minutes setting up one trap when you could have already had 10 setting up working for you while you're doing other things. That's just from experience, get out there and practice this stuff. But again, I've seen people comment, I'm going to carry this, I'm going to carry that. And it leads me to believe that they're not out there trying it out, because it's a pain in the butt to be quite honest with you, working with the inner strands anyway. The Bankline, it wants to do it a little bit, but it's not as bad at all. It'll work with you fairly easy. It's obviously treated Bankline, so for fishing, it's the way to go over the Paracord. So I'm going to adjust the camera here in a second, and we're going to go through. I just got a simple spring snare set up here, and I'm going to show you the difference between the three with using a piece of Bankline, using the whole piece of Paracord, and one inner strand of it. And hopefully this will show you guys a little better, you know, why I prefer the Bankline over the Paracord. So give me a second. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this. I got a small loop, you know, it's not about the trap, it's about what you're using as far as the cordage goes. It's set as a hair trigger, just a spring snare trap like I said. But over here in the toggle, it's all the Paracord to put your 2 half hitches on either side is kind of bulked up. I got a pretty decent Y branch here, so it's not really a big issue here. But depending on the branch that you use, that thing could hang you up, not even set the trap off. So just one of the reasons I don't prefer this Paracord, using the whole thing anyway. If I were to use Paracord and something like this, it'd be for a lot bigger animal. But I'm going to set this off. I just made a slip knot on the end. Again, if the Paracord gets wet, it's going to tend to bind up on you. It's not going to want to slip back and forth freely. That can be a pain in the neck. And also, if you don't do it tight enough, and there's different knots you can use here, there's no doubt about that. But if you don't tie it almost perfect, the knot can loosen up on you. The animal can get away, or it can be too tight and the knot doesn't want to slip for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this off and see what happens with this. Alright, that one, if you can see it, the branch I'm using up here for the snare there, you got space in between my fingers here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So the Paracord didn't want to tighten down all the way. Again, possibly giving the animal a chance to back out. Again, the whole reason for using a spring snare and not a ground snare. In this case, it probably would have worked, but again, it didn't want to tighten until I did that. This thing's got quite a kick too, this tree I'm using. But again, that's just a pet peeve of mine. It's all personal opinion. You know, I'm not telling you not to use Paracord or it's not going to work. But it's just a pain in the neck, I think, altogether, as far as setting up your trap and the chance of losing an animal, you know. So give me a second here. I'm going to set this back up and try it again and see how it works. Obviously my snare isn't nowhere near big enough, but this is just demonstration of the cordage. Alright, again, that was probably more me than the Paracord. This time it tightened down better than the last time, if you guys can see that. And now the knot on my snare is starting to loosen up too. And there's different that you can burn the end of it so it's not going to come off on you. But again, just another reason I don't prefer it to the Bankline, that's all. So give me a second. I'm going to string up the inner strand of Paracord and we'll be right back. Guys, for this one, I used the different colored piece of inner strand of Paracord. What you're not seeing on this is like the 10 minutes it took me to set this thing up. I almost got the friggin' toggle right in the eye here. But I left my knot for the slip knot there a little bit loose because, and I'll show you guys when I take this down, but the tighter you make it on this one, the more that thing wants to coil up on you. And you know, Dave showed a trick. You can stake it out with a couple sticks, you know, kind of square it off to hold it spread out for you. I think that's a pain in the neck, just takes more time to set it up, but you can do it, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one off and see what happens here. Stand up, reach that. Alright, it loosened up. That's only because I took pressure off the tree here. But this one tightened down all the way. And again, it's because I left a good little loop here in my slip knot. Had I not done that, like I said, it wants to ravel up on you. This actually wants to ravel up on you anyway, and I'll show you guys that. Being a spring snare, this one probably would have worked again if the animal's off the ground, which it should be, being that it tightened up all the way. As soon as I take pressure off that branch, it loosens up on you though. And again, that's just has to do with the loop I made here in the paracord. See if I can spread this thing out for you guys on camera. So just opening up the snare here, and see it just wants to twist up on you, if you guys can see that. But again, just another one of my pet peeves, I guess, in using the paracord. It wants to do that to you. And again, I left this knot loose just to help it keep from doing that. And the more you mess with this thing, sliding it back and forth, and you know, make sure your trap works prior to leaving it set up, the more it's going to want to twist up on you. Alright, just one more. See if you guys can see this. All I do with mine is set up 2 slip knots, one on either end. This one will just go around the tree. Bam, put it right on there, quick and simple. You can pre-make these. I actually recommend that. So this is the other side that I left loose, and this is the one that I put around the tree. And just to show you the difference, I tied this slip knot a lot tighter, so just loosen it up a bit, and you can see that thing's already twisting up. So if you're gonna use this, probably the trick would be, you know, leave yourself a bigger loop in your slip knot, and it'll help it a little bit from wanting to twist up on you, and hopefully you won't have to use any stakes. When you're seeing this one set up, I didn't need the stakes, but it was loose, so it giving a chance for that animal to get out, you know, if the trap doesn't work properly. So I'm gonna set up the piece of Bankline, and I'll show you guys that. There it is, the Bankline. A little more forgiving. Like I said earlier, it also wants to tend to coil up on you. Not as bad, but because it has that tar coating on it too, you can work that a little bit and spread it out, and it'll stay there for you, unlike the paracord. So another thing being that it's coated, your slip knot, you can tie that thing tight and it's still going to slide up and down for you, which is good, because when it tightens up, it ain't going to loosen up, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and set this thing off for you guys. You can see there, hopefully, it's tight around my fingers. I've let the pressure off the branch here, and it's still staying tight. So again, I prefer it, you know, for trapping over the paracord any day. And you'd think, well, gee, that's only one thing that it's good for. But again, it's Bankline, so it's good for fishing. Get this thing to stay here. And it'll do any job that the paracord can do. So am I saying Bankline's better than paracord? No, that's not what I'm saying. I just prefer it over paracord, but I also carry both in my kit, so set this off again for you guys. Again, tight around my fingers. I can release the pressure on the branch here, and it's not loosening up. So again, not trying to poke fun, you know, throw any diggers out there at anybody. Just some of the comments kind of mind-boggling to me why people do the things they do. But again, I'm not bad talking Paracord either. I've used it for years in the Army. A lot of people use it. It's multi-purpose. Good stuff to have in your kit. You know, cordage, time-consuming to make or reproduce in the wild. So I carry it. I just prefer the Bankline, so I wanted to kind of do a little comparison video for you guys while I was out this afternoon prior to hunting. If you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I apologize if anybody took offense to anything I said. Merely just a comparison between the Bankline and the Paracord. So thank you guys for watching.